So you finally decided that you are ready to visit Walt Disney World again. You're gonna hop in your car, drive down to Orlando, and use that annual pass that's been collecting dust in your wallet for the past 4 months. Well, I just want to let you know that the way we visit Walt Disney World has changed. Long gone are the days of park hopping, and now we live in the world of the Disney Park Pass system, which means you can only visit one park per day. And let's just say, for the sake of this video, that you are visiting Disney World for one day and you want to make that reservation count. Which park do you choose? Well, I'm here to tell you. Hello everybody, welcome to Vincent Vision. My name is Vincent. For those of you who watch my channel, how you doing? Hi. Watch out. I'm at home, I'm doing a home vlog, so I wanted to wear my home glasses. And for those of you who are stumbling across this video, hi there, I hope you enjoy this. Please be sure to like, subscribe. Normally I do videos out in the parks, but I don't have a reservation until a couple days, so I wanted to do something here at home, and I felt like I was in a unique position where I had gotten to visit all 4 of the Disney parks, and I have noticed that a lot of things have changed. And obviously, I'm not just talking about the safety protocols and the different things like that with social distancing and masks and stuff like that, but just like the experience in general. As a annual pass holder, as an Orlando local, someone who lives here and goes to the parks very, very frequently, before all of this, I definitely had my idea of which parks I liked visiting a lot versus not so much. And now with this new reservation system where you have to sort of plan in advance to visit the parks, my favorites and the things I prefer and the things I enjoyed have shifted. So there are things that I really liked before that I don't really like as much this time. And I wanted to make a little video to sort of talk about my experiences that would hopefully help you guys, for those of you who are visiting Disney World in a limited time. If you're not making a 4-day, week-long vacation to come see all the parks during this time, which is completely understandable, I want you guys to sort of kind of have some information from personal experiences of mine so you can try and figure out which park is a better use of your time. I'm going to talk about each park in 3 little sections I have, sort of 3 different big points that I think are going to help you decide what you should use your reservation for. First one is comfort. How comfortable you feel in the park, sort of how safe you feel in the park. I think Disney World in general has done an amazing job with making people feel really safe in the parks, but some parks are different than others. The second is value. The parks are open, but not everything is open again. You know, you want to get your money's worth, or your reservation's worth, rather. And, of course, fun. How much fun are you having? You're gonna have fun at all the parks. Obviously, it's Walt Disney World, but maybe you could like have fun at one park more than the other because of how they're controlling the crowds. So that's how I want to do it. I don't want this video to be like too crazy long, but I am kind of just going off the seat of my pants here, so I'm going to try and do my best to speak honestly and candidly and hopefully give you guys enough information to sort of make you feel good about your choices. First thing I want to talk about before getting into sort of the 3 categories is how easy is it to get a reservation? Well, it really depends. There are 3 tiers. There are the Disney Resort guests, there are annual pass holders like myself, and then there's people with theme park tickets. So the way they have it set up now, if you're buying a theme park ticket or you are a Disney Resort guest, it's gonna be pretty easy for you to get a reservation pretty much anywhere. They have this availability calendar on the internet that you can check that shows you all the different reservations, like which park you can go into on what day and stuff like that. And I will say, just because it says one thing, it doesn't hurt to check and try anyway. I've been very lucky where I've gotten reservations for parks that were sort of sold out on the reservation system just by checking on my own. And you know, the one random person or the one random family drops a reservation, and that calendar's not gonna accurately reflect that right off the bat. So just go through the Park Pass page, which by the way, you have to do on a mobile browser or like your computer browser. You can't do it on the Disney app. So that's something to be aware of. I'll post a link down there. I would hope by this point you figured it out, but if you didn't, it's there too. Speaking purely on like the annual pass holder angle, for anyone who hasn't made it back to Disney yet and they're an annual pass holder, some parks are definitely easier to get into than others. The easiest park to get a reservation for is gotta be Epcot. Epcot is just a really, really big park. Magic Kingdom and Epcot are really, really big parks. They get a lot more people in than like a Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. But I don't really think there's much of anything going on in Epcot right now that's sort of getting people over there. They're doing their Food and Wine Festival now, which is a good time, and it's a really enjoyable experience. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. But there's like no new rides or anything like that. And now all these changes that are coming to Epcot aren't quite there yet. So Epcot, I would say, every time I've checked, the annual pass holder availability has been pretty much available. And the second, like kind of in the middle, it's hard to tell, but Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom tend to kind of be up in the air. Magic Kingdom is obviously the most popular theme park in the whole wide world, and Animal Kingdom has Avatar Flight of Passage, which before you would have to wait 3 hours to ride, and now with this reservation system, you can basically walk right on in 10 minutes. And then obviously, the most popular park, the Dorsia of theme park reservations, which is a reference to the movie American Psycho.
Dorsia, yes?
Yeah, can you take 2 tonight at, let's say 9 o'clock?
We're totally booked.
Hollywood Studios. Star Wars, Rise of the Resistance, the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, that's where all the new stuff is, and it's a really small park too. So having the new rides and the smaller park size just make it a really, really popular park. Theme park ticket holders, if you're just buying a ticket, it shouldn't be too hard to get one. Disney Resort guests, maybe not as much. There are people staying at the hotels, and they do kind of have their own little pool of reservations, but Hollywood Studios, I've noticed sometimes, seems to go low. So, first category, comfort. Which park is the most comfortable experience? Which park could one feel the most safest in? Now, I know traveling during the pandemic is a little bit of a stretch for a lot of people, and I could imagine if you haven't gone already, you might be someone who's a little worried about the safety of yourself and your family and others when you go to this essentially a mass gathering of people. But I will say, as someone who was kind of initially really kind of a little bit nervous to see how this went, especially at Disney World, I will say they've done a really solid job at controlling the crowds and making it feel spacious. All the parks, for the most part, feel pretty darn spacious. But obviously the most comfortable parks are going to be the 2 giant massive parks, Magic Kingdom and Epcot. Magic Kingdom is like awesome. Main Street is amazing. There's nobody there. You know, Epcot is even better. I walked through the World Showcase and like it was amazing. There was barely anybody there. Of course there's people there, but you know, those roads are so big, and if you think of like peak week or like when Food and Wine opens up on the weekends, comparing it to that, Epcot was really, really easy to get around. And I think it being the least populated park, just because like, you know, it's kind of lower on the reservation priority for a lot of people, helps with that experience of feeling like you can socially distance and you can separate yourself from groups of people. There's not like that many bottlenecks. At least when I visited, I didn't really feel that. I've noticed in general as well, it just tends to, like, if you're really worried about that, I would just say show up later in the day, and that initial 9 a.m., 10 a.m. that the parks open up, it's pretty busy, you know, just because it's everyone showing up all at once. That's when you're going to see the most people, especially at something like Temperature Check. Epcot and Magic Kingdom I think are really, really great. I found those 2 to be the easiest parks to socially distance. Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, not as much. Animal Kingdom, while it obviously wasn't as busy as Hollywood Studios, I think it's just designed in a certain way to make people feel like they're exploring the jungle. And sometimes exploring the jungle requires tight, narrow pathways and claustrophobia. But I do think the park really isn't that busy, and just like as a rule of thumb for all of these parks, if you show up in the afternoon, there's not going to be many people there. The busiest park, and I think the one that really feels it the most, has got to be Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. I love it. I love Star Wars. I love Galaxy's Edge. But Galaxy's Edge, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and Toy Story Land, those areas were so busy all the time. Yeah, Sunset Boulevard, not so much. You know, you could go walk right up to the Tower of Terror, and that street, nothing was going on. But like Batu, Slinky Dog Dash, all of that really did feel like a normal day at some points, and that's maybe something you don't want to hear if you're coming to these parks and you're worried about social distancing. So overall, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, big, spacious, easy to move around on your own. Animal Kingdom, it's a smaller park, but not as busy. And then Hollywood Studios, by far the busiest, and it feels like the most normal. It feels like the olden days at Hollywood Studios. Second category, value. You want to make sure if you've got a reservation to only visit one park in a day, that you can see as much as possible. Right off the bat, I will say the best value for your reservation, a good winning bet, is Magic Kingdom. So right now, and it could change, there aren't like any shows going on at Disney World. I think there's some sort of drama with the actors, equity, and stuff like that. I'm not really going to get into it, but basically, there are no shows with live performers where you sit down in a theater and watch something, which works really well in Magic Kingdom's favor because it's all rides. And I'm here to tell you that pretty much all of the rides at Magic Kingdom are running, which is great. Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, Seven Dwarfs, everything. Haunted Mansion, have your fun at Magic Kingdom. Everything is available to you. Something that's a little different, which I haven't really been able to look too much into, is stores and restaurants. Not everything is open, and I haven't really sat down and looked at what's available and what's not, so forgive me on that side of the equation. But I will say, as far as the ride experience, you are able to ride all of the rides at Magic Kingdom, most if not all. No People Mover, still I haven't been on that yet. I really like that ride. So it's great. And I will say, like, as someone who didn't really like going to Magic Kingdom before, I would go obviously to like walk around and enjoy myself and take in the ambiance and stuff like that. But Magic Kingdom used to be the busiest park. Like, if you didn't have a fast pass for Splash Mountain or Space Mountain, unless you waited 2 hours, you weren't going to ride it. Or at least I wasn't going to ride it. The way they're controlling the crowds, they're controlling the capacity, I find it very, very easy or very, very tolerable wait times at Magic Kingdom. I will wait 15, 20 minutes to go on Space Mountain. I will wait 20, 30 minutes to ride Splash Mountain on a hot day. You know, I'll walk on to Big Thunder Mountain if I'm lucky. It's great. And these rides that are usually really, really high weights and very, very popular, waltz right on. So Magic Kingdom, I'll say right off the bat, is definitely number one. Number two, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom has not many rides, but all of the rides are great. And since there aren't really that many people in the park, you're getting on these rides really quickly. Like Expedition Everest, you can just hop on that over and over again. Flight of Passage, all the Pandora rides, obviously, those are really big, popular rides that usually have at least an hour-long wait. I walked right onto Navi River Journey, and they were like, hey, do you want to ride again? And I was like, maybe. But like Flight of Passage, they were offering re-rides for that as well. That's insane. I remember I used to have to wait 3.5 hours to ride Flight of Passage. And now they're literally like, hey, do you want to go on again? Please, please. Which is insane. And for a lot of people who have yet to experience Flight of Passage or just haven't experienced it since it opened up, Animal Kingdom is looking like a pretty juicy chicken nugget. I don't know, Pandora chicken nugget. I couldn't think of an animal on the spot. Sorry. So I think Animal Kingdom, I'm going to go ahead and say number 2. Number 3, with value, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a tie, actually. A tie between Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And I'm going to get into Hollywood Studios in a second because I've got a lot of thoughts on what is my favorite park, but I think right now, during this time, it's kind of tricky. I don't think it's as enjoyable as it could be. But Epcot, I mean, there's really not like that many rides right now. They've still got Mission Space and Test Track, and I think in general there hasn't really been much there. Frozen's there. Frozen will have like a 20 to 30 minute wait all day, and that's great because that's a really popular ride. But the big thing for me has always been with Epcot is that it is just a really nice, beautiful park, and you can walk around the World Showcase and not ride a single ride and have a satisfying time. And I think you still get that at Epcot. And especially since they're doing their sort of abridged version of Food and Wine that started as soon as the parks opened up. They have all of these booths available and they're serving really, really good food. One of my biggest headaches with all of the festivals is they get so popular and you have to wait in this long line for like, I don't know, cheddar cheese soup. And you're just like, I don't want to wait here. It's hot and this and that. And like, there's nobody there now, so there's like one person in line when you try to get something at one of the booths, and I think it's a really nice experience. It's a really nice like date night or, you know, just like a good time. And the cool thing about Epcot is it stays open till late. So like it's staying open till 9 o'clock, I believe. So you get to be there at nighttime. And gosh, I didn't stick around till the end when I was there, but like at 7 o'clock, it was pretty darn quiet. I can imagine it being like you have the whole place to yourself at 9 o'clock. And then Hollywood Studios. We're gonna use this as an opportunity to branch into the fun category because I've got a lot of thoughts on Hollywood Studios. So, Hollywood Studios, what can I say? What should I say about Mr. Hollywood Studios? So I enjoy Hollywood Studios, and there are less people there. If you are able to get a reservation for Hollywood Studios and you're going to that park, you're gonna have a pretty decent time. You know, Tower of Terror is like a 20-minute wait, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on when you get there. You know, Rock and Roller Coaster as well. Those two rides, which are usually really, really popular, can be pretty accessible, I would have to say. Even something like Toy Story Mania, I remember I used to have to run to the Fast Pass booth in the morning to get something for Toy Story Mania, and now you can pretty much walk right on or wait 15 minutes. But I have also seen it where the park is pretty busy, just because that's where all the new stuff is. I've also seen it where Tower of Terror is at an hour wait, and the Rock and Roller Coaster is at an hour wait. And the way they have these lines socially distanced, while you're probably going to be waiting that time, it's an accurate wait time, the line's probably going to stick out of the building. And I don't want to sound like a brat, but it's hot in Florida, man. And they're having you wait in places where they have not designed people to wait in queues. So they have these sort of makeshift queues for social distancing that sometimes just end up being out in the hot sun. And you're like, gosh, this is kind of miserable. Like I said, it all depends on what time you hit those rides. I think in general for all of the parks, if you just wait till the end, you're going to walk right on to some of your favorite rides that you used to have to wait an hour for. But the biggest thing in Hollywood Studios, to me, is the boarding pass system. Come on! I thought we'd be done with it. I thought if you had a reservation, you were in, they accounted for it, but no, they are still making guests get reservations. So there is a slight possibility that if you visit Hollywood Studios and you are not quick on your feet with the Rise of the Resistance virtual line experience, you might not be able to ride the big ride, which to a lot of people might seem like a waste of a reservation, which I totally get. I don't know. I just don't like that thought entering my head that I've already had to get a reservation to get in because the crowds are being controlled, and now I might not be able to get to ride this new ride. And Mickey and Minnie's is pretty popular throughout most of the day. The way the queue is set up, you're just waiting outside. So it's tricky. It's tricky. It's a very popular park. Slinky Dog Dash is obviously very popular, but Slinky Dog Dash, the way the queue is set up, especially with social distancing, literally goes all the way out to like the entrance of Toy Story Land. And it's like, that's like a 50-60 minute wait versus like the 2 hours that it used to be. So it's a really popular park and it has a lot of in-demand attractions, which is completely understandable, but it is definitely the busiest. And, you know, if you're going to Walt Disney World during this time, I don't think you're really expecting to wait very long for rides, and you won't be waiting that long compared to like how it used to be, but we're not how it used to be. You know, these are now the longest lines. So just something to think about. And I think that kind of affects sort of the fun you can have at Hollywood Studios. And even though it's my favorite park, Galaxy's Edge is still going on, you know, I think that kind of gets in the way of it a little bit. But as far as fun, I mean, I just really wanted to use that as a launch pad to talk about Hollywood Studios. All the other parks are pretty great. Epcot, just walk around Food and Wine, get some food, you'll be fine, you'll have a great time. Magic Kingdom, you're hopping on all the rides, you know, everything is available to you at Magic Kingdom. The characters are like going down the street all the time. In Animal Kingdom, it's a really beautiful park, and when there's not as many people there, you're going through and jumping on all these rides, it feels like a really personal, intimate experience, and that is, you know, it's hard to forget, you know? With this whole video in general, these are just my personal thoughts. These are my thoughts as someone who has lived here for 6 years and visited the parks all the time, so I definitely have my opinions on what I like to do at Walt Disney World, what I think is an enjoyable experience. I know I said a lot of stuff about Hollywood Studios and maybe made it sound like I don't really like going there, but I will tell you right now, I check for reservations every day for Hollywood Studios because that is my favorite park. And even just walking around Galaxy's Edge is enough for me. And I will go through the headache of going on Rise of the Resistance or trying to get a boarding pass because you get on and you ride just by yourself and like, holy crap, that's amazing, you know? And Magic Kingdom, I never used to really like Magic Kingdom just because it was such a headache to get to. It was really busy all the time, and you had to decide whether you wanted to leave before the fireworks or watch the fireworks and then like take 2 hours to get back to your car because this mass exodus of people were leaving. And now there's no fireworks, and I miss Happily Ever After. I love fireworks, but it's nice to just be able to leave the park in a normal way, and it's just like small groups of people trickling out, you know? So the experience has changed, but at its heart, it is still Walt Disney World. I think if you go there and you are ready to go back to Walt Disney World, I think you are going to find that it is kind of exactly how you left it. You know, you're gonna get on your favorite ride and it's gonna take that sharp little turn and you're gonna go, oh my gosh, I'm back. Yay, I'm here again. It's a good time. And then obviously, of course, you know, if you're not quite ready to go back to Walt Disney World, I totally get that too. You know, this is a really weird time that we're living in, and I don't want you to feel like you have to go to Walt Disney World. It's been a really rough time. I know a lot of people would just love to get on the Tower of Terror and scream their lungs off, but scream inside your heart until you get to come back. But hey, that's all I got. So thank you guys for watching this home edition of Vincent Vision. I hope you had a good time. Please be sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. Watch some more of my videos. Do you agree with what I have said about the parks? I would love to hear your comments. Leave a like, leave some comments down below. I read them all, well, mostly all of them. I read a lot of them, and I would love to hear what you guys think is the best park to visit with the Park Pass reservation. But until then, I will see you guys around. Thank you all for watching, and hope you pick a good one. All right? Bye-bye, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.